And it's worth noting that those who serve on the Migration Advisory Committee, those who've been ministers, are all very learned people. I've long held the view that if we sent some of them out to go out in the fishing boats, and if we had more skippers in ministerial offices and in the Migration Advisory Committee, the problem would be solved next Tuesday. Give way to the honourable gentleman.
I thank the right honourable gentleman for giving way. And it's a similar point to what was just raised by the honourable member, but it's an argument that's often put across that these crew members that are much sought after in the Scottish fishing industry as well as in Northern Ireland are often regarded as low-skilled, and we can argue about whether it's high-skilled or low-skilled, but certainly we can agree, does my right honourable friend agree, that these are very specific skills of which we have a shortage.
The case, and indeed if the crews were to be found in the fishing ports that he represents and I represent, then we wouldn't be here tonight.
I give way to my honourable friend.
Thank the Minister for giving way. On the subject of exploitation, I hope my right honourable friend looks forward, as I do, to her visiting my constituency in the near future to see the conditions in which a lot of these non-EEA workers actually live and work in. But I would also like to bring her back to the mention of the numbers around the numbers required in this case. So in the horticultural sector, the Home Office has already made an allowance in the form of a pilot scheme for 2,500 people, which, not getting into the debate on whether that's enough for that sector or not, but that is twice as much as the number we're talking about. I think the latest estimate I have from the Scottish Whitefish Producers Association is we have currently 800 non-EEA crew members, with 400 from the EU. So after Brexit, that's a total of 1,200, less than half of what is required for the agricultural sector, or what's going to be provided for the agricultural sector. So could such a number of visas be made available to see us through on a non-permanent basis, while at the same time we do develop skills locally?
Well, I have listened to my honourable friend on this subject on many an occasion, and he has been a forceful and indeed passionate advocate for the industry. I think with regard to the seasonal workers scheme in the edible horticultural sector, it is important that we have the opportunity to evaluate that scheme and important that we reflect upon it. But I am certainly listening closely to the calls made this evening for a similar scheme for fishing. But the White Paper does not represent the government's last word on this topic, quite the reverse. It's the start of the conversation and very much not the end, and we are talking to every sector of the economy across every nation of the United Kingdom and every region of England. As I said earlier, ministers and officials have held 45 meetings with over 650 stakeholders, and that work will continue over the coming months, and I can confirm that it absolutely will include representatives of the fishing sector. I also very much hope that it will give me the opportunity to get out and about and indeed to visit the constituency of my honourable friend, the member for Banff and Buchan. I do have the Fisheries Minister with me this evening, and members will be aware that that bill is making its progress through the legislative process